mine. Thanks. And it's the only red one I have.
Hello, Aaron. Okay, good evening, everybody. The time is 6:30 p.m. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, and I am calling this meeting of the Macomb Township Board of Trustees to order, and we will first say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Posey, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Trustee Cusimano.
Here.
Trustee Lucido.
Here.
Trustee Oliver.
Here.
Trustee Nevers.
Present.
Treasurer Gillette.
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Vivian.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I have a proposed removal of 6H under consent, and I also have a proposed add-on before new business, a resolution recognizing board development composition.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido to approve the agenda as corrected. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to approval of the bills.
So move to approve.
Support.
Any discussion or questions on the bill run? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Nevers to approve the bills. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to approval of the previous meeting's minutes from October 23rd. Is there a motion to approve?
So move. Trustee Kuzma supports.
Any questions or discussion on the previous meeting's minutes? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Kuzmano to approve the minutes from October 23rd. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. This will take us to our first public comment of the evening. This is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to make public comment may approach the microphone on the right-hand side of the room. I don't see anybody making a move to the microphone. So we will go on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Any questions or discussion on any of the consent items? Hearing none, motion by Treasurer Gillette, supported by Trustee Lucido to approve the consent agenda. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I believe we're going to have our add-on here, Kevin, before you get up to the microphone. I know you're getting ready over there.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following resolution, if I may. And if seconded, I'd like to read that resolution.
Sure. Is there a second?
Support.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I move that the board approves the following resolution. At a regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Township of Macomb, County of Macomb, State of Michigan, held in the Township Hall in said township on the 13th day of November 2024 at 6:30 p.m., the following preamble and resolution were offered. Whereas Macomb Township Trustee Nancy Nevers has been a resident of the township for 24 years and has served as an elected trustee for 20 years beginning in 2004. Whereas Trustee Nevers was overwhelmingly reelected by voters in 2008, 2012, and 2016 when she received the highest number of votes of any trustee candidate in each of those elections. Whereas Nancy Nevers brought to her role a distinguished 36-year career at Chrysler Corporation and applied her education in business administration from Central Michigan University and further training from the Citizen Planner Program at Michigan State University. Whereas Trustee Nevers demonstrated immeasurable determination, loyalty, resilience in her campaign from 1993 through 2001 to ensure her husband, former police officer Larry Nevers, received justice in a high-profile and tragic incident. Nancy Nevers' perseverance paid off when the Eastern District Court of the United States District Court agreed in 1997 that Officer Nevers' trial unjustly allowed for a prejudiced jury due to extensive pretrial publicity. Whereas Trustee Nevers served the community as an active member of the Friends of Macomb Township Foundation, the local Kiwanis Club, and many others, raising funds to support scholarships for deserving youth, helping foster children, and contributing to many other charitable causes. Whereas Nancy Nevers played a pivotal role in the creation and dedication of a public memorial to first responders and military veterans on Township Hall grounds. Whereas Nancy Nevers helped guide Macomb Township through internal and external challenges with grace and wisdom, and was instrumental in the expansion of township recreation amenities, road and sidewalk expansions, and increased public safety resources. Now there it be resolved that the Macomb Township Board of Trustees hereby commends and publicly extends its gratitude to Nancy Nevers for 20 years of service. Now therefore, the Macomb Township Board of Trustees hereby proclaims Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 as Nancy Nevers Day in Macomb Township. Now
Thank you.
to vote.
Roll call.
Well, I guess technically I need to ask for any questions or discussion on this resolution.
I did not expect this.
Hearing none. Clerk Posey, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Treasurer Drollet.
Yes.
Trustee Lucido.
Yes.
Trustee Kuzimano.
Yes.
Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Viviano.
Yes. That resolution is adopted.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, we got to get through a meeting, Nancy. Hold it together.
You just hit her so hard.
All right, this will take us on to new business. Kevin, where are you? You were so ready a minute ago. Item 10 is a request to award Town Hall roof replacement project to WM Molnar Roofing, Inc. in the amount of $274,800.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Johnson.
All right. Good evening, board. So this project is to replace the flat portion of the roof on this building, similar to what we did to Parks and Recreation earlier this summer. This project did go through the RFP process. There were 7 proposals that were submitted. The 2 lowest cost proposals were interviewed, and evaluations were written to reflect the interviews as well as their proposals. The evaluation team consisted of Scott Kelly from AEW, Chris Nosick, for the Facilities and Ground Supervisor, Mike Rickert, Water and Sewer Supervisor, and myself. The evaluation scoring was determined that the lowest responsible bidder is the lowest cost bidder, William Molnar Roofing. It's anticipated the work will begin in April of 2025. There is room in the budget for this item. The confirmation of process memo is attached, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Through you to Mr. Johnson, is this along the lines of what we had budgeted? Is it within the ballpark?
Not. It's a little over. We budgeted 115,000, but there was a budget line for a township for a condenser unit that we didn't feel was necessary at this time. We reviewed it, and it's in working condition. So we're using that condenser was budgeted for 225,000 in the capital plan. So we're using some of those funds to cover the cost of the roof to make that happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none.
Mr. Chair, I have
Yeah,
a question
Sure,
to the
Trustee
chair.
Kuzmano.
What's the anticipated life of the repaired roof?
The anticipated life is typically somewhere between 30 to 40 years.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair. if I-
Yes.
Do you expect that that town hall will be inconvenienced parking or for the employees or anything during that time?
There'll probably be some minor parking inconveniences, but we'll create a plan. We'll have it all mapped out, so they'll be working on probably the south side of the building first, north second. We'll just make sure it's according. We'll talk with you guys, making sure the plan works out. It's not to inconvenience you too much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just want to make sure that, a follow-up with the clerk to make sure we don't have any parking inconveniences with events that take place in the township.
I'm all for that, and I will move my car wherever necessary.
Anyone else?
When's it gonna, when's it gonna start?
Probably April of 2025 when the weather starts warming up again.
Okay, thank you.
There's no more questions. There's a motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Trustee Lucido, to award the Town Hall roof replacement to William Molnar Roofing, Inc. in the amount of $274,800. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 11 is a request to award the DPW roof replacement project to KJP Roofing in the amount of $154,300.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Johnson.
All right, so this project is to replace the entire shingled roof of the DPW building with the addition of replacement of 4 skylights. This project did go through the RFP process. Again, the 2 lowest proposals were interviewed. The evaluation team, again, was Scott Kelly with AW, Chris Nosek, Facilities and Ground Supervisor, Mike Rickert, Water and Sewer Supervisor, and myself. Evaluations determined the lowest responsible bidder was also, again, the lowest cost bidder, KJP Roofing and Sheet Metal. It's anticipated this work will begin either April or May of 2025. The budget for this roof was $150,000, but with the contingency built in, this most likely will fall under budget. The confirmation of process memo is attached, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion?
I don't see a shingle question.
All right, no important questions anyway. Motion by Treasurer Drollet, supported by Trustee Oliver, to award the DPW roof replacement project to KJP Roofing, $154,300. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Kevin? Moving on to item 12. This is a request to hire a building inspector. Was there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Support.
Mr. Tabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. We are looking to add a full-time building inspector to the building department. The department has been low on staff for several months due to a couple of employees on work restrictions, and due to a 30% increase in building permits this year, it has put a stress on the department to provide the services needed for the township. With 3 employees eligible to retire, this hire will also help our succession planning, and there is room in the budget. Myself, Joe Maples, and Mike Badamo interviewed 4 candidates, and we are recommending Ray Tuttle for the position. Ray is currently helping the township as a part-time building inspector. If approved, the start date would be November 25th, 2024. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by Clerk Posey, supported by Trustee Oliver, to hire Mr. Raymond Tuttle as our new building inspector. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Tabaka. Moving on to item 13. This is a request for a rezoning from residential one-family urban to flex. For the location is 51407 Romeo Plank. This is just north of 23 Mile Road on the west side of Romeo Plank. This is permanent parcel ID 0817451-015. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Do you support?
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Mr. Box.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. One quick correction. It does say R2L in the text, but it also says one family urban. This is, to be clear, this is residential multifamily low density is the current zoning, and they are seeking to rezone to flex use. The intent is to use this property for a salon. They may repurpose the house for that if they can. If they cannot, they're going to demo the house and build a new salon. This rezoning does match the master plan. Staff is in support, and it went to Planning Commission just last evening and was recommended for approval unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Box. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Motion by trustee Oliver, supported by treasurer Gillette, to approve the rezoning from residential low density. Is that correct?
Multifamily, or two-family low density, yes.
Two-family low density. Two flex at 51407 Romeo Plank, parcel ID 0817451-015. Members, please vote. That motion passes unanimously. This will take us to item 14, is a request to promote a probationary firefighter. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Deputy Chief.
Good evening, Board. Tonight I'm requesting your approval to promote probationary firefighter Anthony Ciccelli. Ciccelli has successfully completed his probationary period, and he's recommended for promotion to part-time firefighter.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Motion by trustee Oliver, supported by trustee Lucido, to promote Mr. Anthony Ciccelli from probationary firefighter to full-time firefighter.
Congratulations, well done.
That motion passes unanimously by that.
Thank you.
All right, that'll take us to item 15. This is a request to approve the purchase of 15 PCs and docking stations from CDWG, not to exceed $33,700.
So move.
Support.
Mr. Lepari.
Good evening, Board. The IT Department is requesting authorization to purchase up to 30 PCs and docking stations from CDWG at a cost not to exceed $33,700. The cost of this equipment has been budgeted in the current budget year in the computer equipment and software lines for each department. These PCs will be used to replace old equipment throughout the township as part of our ongoing technology replacement plan. This request will be broken up into multiple purchases so the PCs can be rolled out at convenient times for each department. The township is part of the MIDL purchasing program and utilizes a cooperative contract with CDWG. I have included the confirmation and process memo from the purchasing specialist, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by treasurer Gillette, supported by clerk Posey, to approve the purchase of PCs and docking stations from CDWG not to exceed $33,700. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a request to execute a one-year contract extension with VC3 for IT support services. Contract amount for the next year is $164,160. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Mr. Lepari.
So the IT Department is requesting authorization to execute a one-year contract extension with VC3 for IT support services. The $164,160 annual cost will be billed monthly. The board approved a request to award a 3-year IT support services agreement to IT Right on October 27, 2021. That agreement had 2 one-year extension options. IT Right was acquired by VC3, and VC3 assumed the original contract. VC3 provides necessary services that are required to support our users and our IT infrastructure. The supervisor's office and IT department have reviewed the contract and feel that the renewal is reasonable and currently offers the best value for the township. The annual cost for the extension is the same as the annual cost during the first 3 years of the agreement. I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Lepari. Any questions or discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions.
Sure.
First question is that I was able to look up the board packet information on the original contract from October 27, 2021. And it indicated that if there was a renewal, that there was an escalator clause of 3%. Is my understanding that VC3 will be waiving that?
They did not exercise that escalator. They tendered us a renewal at the same price.
Thank you. And a general question, is there a reason why a $3,156 a week contract is not being bid out? I understand that it has a provision for a renewal, but it is a rather large contract. And I want to know if there's a reason for not requesting competitive bidding pursuant to the purchasing agreement.
I can try and address that, and Jason, you can correct me if I get any part of this incorrect. So it has been an ongoing discussion as to whether we will bid out IT services again. We are still in the process of evaluating what level of service we require, because everyone remembers this contract was entered into before Jason's was with the township. Jason did do an informal sort of review of our neighboring communities and found that their contracts are actually much more expensive than ours for similar services. So, which is one of the reasons we felt that this extension was a good value, at least for the time being. It does have, what is it, a 30-day notice or a 60-day notice?
90 days, we can
90-day
cancel with 90
notice.
days
So
notice,
we can,
yes.
we can still enter into an RFP when we are comfortable as to what level of service we require going forward, simply with a 90-day notice. But we just haven't gotten there yet.
And not holding anyone to any numbers, how many work tickets are generated per month with this contractor?
I don't have that number. It really varies depending on what issues are going on. It really varies every month.
Is it fewer than 30 a month?
One month it might be, another month it may not be. They provide other services though, as far as monitoring our servers, patching our servers. They provide our endpoint security software for all our servers, all our workstations. They provide our backup software. They monitor our backups. So there are more services they provide than just the help desk. They also provide the security awareness training for all of our users.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Trustee Guzmano. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Trustee Nevers, to execute the one-year contract extension with VC3 for IT support services in the amount of $164,160. Members, please vote. Motion passes 6-1 with Trustee Guzmano voting no.
Thank you.
This will take us, thanks, Jason. This will take us to item 17. This is a request to approve the second amendment to the lease agreement with Crown Castle. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
So as described in the board packet, actually I didn't print off my board memo, but Crown Castle owns one of the towers that is located near Station 2. They leased the ground from the township. While the existing lease had, I think, another 4 years into it, they reached out to us to extend. Mr. Tomlinson and I reviewed the request. He negotiated with them. He found that their current escalator at 4% a year is within market, consistent with others throughout the township, and it is good value to the township. So we agreed to extend the contract for, and I don't have it in front of me, I think it was a total of another 30 years, but it's a little bit shorter than that when you add in the remaining years of the existing contract. And with that, I will take any questions. Not my finest presentation.
Nothing to do with White Castle?
Crown Castle.
Crown Castle, okay.
Hearing no questions, motion by Trustee Oliver, supported by Clerk Posey, to approve the second amendment to the lease agreement with Crown Castle. Members, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. All right, this will take us to our second public comment. This is for non-agenda items. Anyone who wishes to make comment this evening may use the microphone on the right-hand side of the room. And I don't see anyone. This will take us to board comments. Trustee Lucido.
Just a couple of things. Congratulations to Mr. Tuttle and Mr. Tichelli on your new positions. Appreciate your service to the township. Lutheran High North, who's in Macomb Township, won the district championship in football last week. Moving on in the playoffs, they'll play Harper Woods this Friday. Got to mention De La Salle, they also moved on. They will be playing Birmingham Groves this Friday. And I do know that Dakota, I believe, moved on as well. So a lot of things happening for township football players. And would also like to publicly thank Trustee Nevers for her many years of service to the township, but not just to the township, but being so welcoming to me 4 years ago when I joined the board. We've sat next to each other for these last 4 years, always talking about President Trump, talking about Elvis Presley, a lot of different things. And, a couple times I saw her in the township out to lunch, and she was just so nice to my wife and my daughters, my son. And I'm going to miss Nancy Nevers every week sitting next to, or every other week at these board meetings. So, Nancy, thank you, and I appreciate your mentorship and guidance in my first 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lucido. So Nancy, I think we're going to skip you and let you
Oh, please
have the
don't.
last.
No.
We're going to give you the last comments of the evening.
Oh, okay.
How about that? Trustee Oliver.
Same thing, Mr. Tuttle, and congratulations to, and Mr. Chichilli, congratulations. A quick shout out to the water department. We had a water leak in front of the farm there, and they got it fixed quick. There was only 2 people shortly out of water, and so shout out to you guys. Christie, I know you're going to talk about this, so just one quick thing. You did a great job in the election. Thank you and your staff. Smooth as glass. But you're going to elaborate on that. I don't want to take your wind away.
You're fine.
Nancy, how many years? A lot of years. We won't go there. Okay, great job. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Charlie.
When I call you, you always answered, and we always talked and kept the community going. And so, again, thank you, and
Thank you.
congrats on your next chapter.
Next chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Oliver. Trustee Guzmano.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to extend welcome to the new hires and to tell Ms. Nevers that it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve with you on this board, and you will be missed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Guzmano. Treasurer Gillette. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So when someone is first elected to public office, they have the opportunity to build relationships with the people they work with. Sometimes they become just coworkers, sometimes they become allies, some become true friends. When I was elected treasurer in 2020, no such opportunities were needed between me and Nancy because Nancy and I had already been friends since the very early 90s. I met Nancy when she was in a difficult and challenging place in her life. Her husband was being railroaded with an unfair trial for political reasons. I joined with many others in her fight for justice for her husband. And during that long battle, I witnessed who Nancy was, her perseverance, persistence, and unwavering work ethic in pursuit of justice and fairness. Nancy brought those same values to her position as trustee in Macomb Township. With her help, Macomb Township grew and prospered over her 20 years as trustee. There were difficult and dark times, there were recessions, fiscal challenges, mistakes, regrets, but through it all, Nancy has remained consistent in her conservative values and consistent in being a great personal friend. Thank you, Nancy, for your service to this community. Thank you for your friendship. Our friendship began many years before your first term as trustee, and I look forward to many more years of your friendship as you conclude your final term here tonight. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Gillette. Clerk Posey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to congratulate, I'm going to probably botch his poor last name, but Mr. Chantilly on his promotion, that one, and Mr. Tuttle for joining us full-time. I, too, would like to wish Trustee Nevers a healthy and peaceful retirement. I have been blessed with you on this board for quite some time, so congratulations and enjoy your time.
Thank you.
As for an election report, Macomb Township voters turned out in record numbers for this year's presidential election, reflecting a community deeply engaged in shaping the nation's future. The high turnout can be attributed to various factors and improvements such as the addition of the permanent ballot option for mail-in voting and postage paid on return ballots, 9 consecutive days of early voting, additional drop boxes located throughout the township, and multiple polling locations on Election Day. The clerk's office serviced a total of 59,142 residents in the presidential election, 22,826 by mail-in ballot, 20,567 on Election Day, and 15,749 at our early voting site. During early voting, we averaged over 1,750 voters per day and often processing over 4 people per minute. As election administrators, I can honestly say we were overwhelmed, burnt out, and stressed, but we continued to give it our all. To the election workers, I want to extend my deepest gratitude for your incredible commitment, hard work, and resilience in making this election a success. Your work is essential, and I recognize the long hours, attention to detail, and unwavering professionalism you bring to the process. Despite the challenges we faced with numerous new election laws, you have shown remarkable strength and a steadfast commitment to serving Macomb Township voters with integrity and care. None of what we do is possible without dedicated election workers and township employees like all of you. To the employees, I am extremely proud of everything we've accomplished this year. As we continue recovering from our 4th election cycle, I want to put into words my sincere gratitude for you all. Please know that your contribution and long hours have not gone unnoticed. I'm immensely grateful for the election team, which has expanded to include numerous employees within the township. I'm extremely fortunate to have such a tremendous collection of workers through all the stages of the election. Thank you once again for all that you do, and God bless.
Thank you, Clerk Posey. I want to also thank Mr. Tuttle and Mr. Cicelli. Congratulations on your new positions. So some may be aware that the township sponsored a food drive in honor of Veterans Day, which just passed this last Monday. It was extremely successful, and I want to give a very special thanks to Olivia Mazzola from my office, who spearheaded that effort. We set up boxes throughout the township, and Treasurer Drolette and Olivia and Grace from my office delivered those canned goods and dry goods yesterday, and it was literally an entire pickup truck full of food that we were able to supply to the Vietnam Veterans of America, and supply that food bank. So thanks to everyone that contributed. Special thanks to Fox Subaru, to Ray Wiegand's Nursery, and to Myers at 24 and Hayes for allowing us to put collection boxes at their businesses, and to everyone who contributed. Congratulations to Clerk Posey on a very successful election. I heard from Clerk Ferlini and many other election experts who are much smarter than me that they felt like the Macomb Township election was the best run of any they have ever seen, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Nancy, what can I say? To do this for 20 years is somewhat remarkable. To step forward and serve your community is one thing, but to do so for 20 years through such a number of turbulent times that this township had, and to stand resolute in your beliefs, I appreciate everything you did for our community. I appreciate the time you spent with me as I was first running for office and giving me all of your insight as to the township. And as Trustee Oliver well said, you will definitely be missed.
Thank you.
Now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. You know, I knew I was going to say something tonight, and but I'm extremely humbled by everything, the resolution, the words from both Pete and Leon, and this is really a three-hanky evening for me, but I did put some thoughts on paper, and I'd like to start with saying, and at the risk of sounding trite, a tale of two cities comes to mind as a perfect analogy regarding my service in municipal government. Clearly, this board has been the best of times. What I'd like to do tonight is to summarize my feelings and some of the facts about serving as a member of this board. The leadership, vision, and competence of Supervisor Viviano, Treasurer Dulett, and Clerk Posey is simply outstanding and apparent to anyone willing to do a drive around Macomb Township. Let me briefly list some of the successes. Our wonderful parks, recreation center, the best in all of Macomb County. Then there is the completion of the long-awaited paving of Garfield Road, 22-mile road all the way to 25, and the improvements in sidewalk connections throughout the township. Equally important are the effects to bring more than 12 million new tax dollars to our township, which funds the local road improvements and so much more, too numerous to mention this evening. Now it is important to me to mention our wonderful patriotic veterans and first responders memorial. I'd like to consider that memorial as a legacy of mine to the township, but I cannot honestly say that without mentioning and thanking two special individuals. First would be Michael DiAgostini, a local and longtime builder in this township, for his tireless, nonstop efforts in making it all happen. And of course, our very own Jim Van Tifflet. Without his leadership and guidance, it would have only been a dream of mine. So thank you. And thank you to Mike. Last but not least, I must mention the trustees seated on this board. Trustee Lucido, Trustee Oliver, and Trustee Cusimano. It has been a pleasure to get to know each person, along with their strengths and personalities. In summary, just let me say that it has been an honor to serve with everyone on this board, and I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to the newly elected trustee, Ron Papa. May he enjoy the same relationship as I have experienced serving with these members. Thank you, and goodbye.
We have to adjourn the meeting, so please announce the
So,
meeting is adjourned.
I'll call for the vote, and then when it's time, you're gonna gavel us closed.
Okay.
So I hit this.
Once the vote is complete, you hit the board and say the meeting.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
This meeting is adjourned.
By unanimous consent.
By unanimous.
All right.
All vote by unanimous consent.
Never having done that before.
Okay.
This is too much.
Well, you know.